What's up guys, my name is Andy. In this video, I'm going to be replacing the steering wheel on my 1966 Fastback. I don't know if this is an original steering wheel, if this is one that came in Mustangs earlier or later. I don't know if this maybe came in a Fairlane or something like that. I don't know enough about the steering wheel, but I do know that I'm not wild about its design, and I like that wood grain style steering wheel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that and put it, we're also going to have a new horn button so we don't have this kind of a setup here. So let's go on the bench and take a look at the parts that we're going to install. So guys, this is what you get when you buy the kit from CJ Pony Parts, and you get the hub, here's the horn button, and then here's the little sticker that's going to go on the horn button, and then the steering wheel's inside here. So let's take a look at the parts that we've got. There's a part number for that, and then for the horn button, there's the part number right there, and then the part number for the steering wheel adapter. And if you buy the whole kit like I did, you get all this in one set, so you don't have to worry about buying them individually. And then the steering wheel, let's see, that's kind of hard to read, but there's the part number right there. And let's take this out and see what we've got. So this is going to be the ring that's going to hold the steering wheel to the hub, and it's got the fasteners inside here. And then let's look at the steering wheel. Oh boy, look at that. Oh yeah, that's what we're looking for. Wood grain, polished aluminum. I like that a lot. So, and then this thing will sit on there. Let's get the horn out. Yeah, that'll be on there. That'll go on there. And fasteners, and look, it even comes with an Allen wrench. That's nice. And then these two little pins right here, these black, those split pins, those are going to go in the back of the hub to trigger the turn signal. And you need to be careful when you install that. If you push those in too far, they won't trigger the turn signal when you turn the wheel back and it goes to return and turn the turn signal off. You don't be careful. If you put them in too far, there's the holes, those two holes right there for those pins. And the only reason why I know that is I installed a steering wheel just like this on my last Mustang, and I drove them in too far and I couldn't get them back out, so I had to manually turn this turn signal off every single time. It was just a pain. So what you've got is two different trim rings here depending on what steering column that you have. I believe on this is the one that I put on the last car, and it'll probably be the same one for this car, but if you have a different steering column, it's got a little bit wider base, so it'll just kind of match everything up. And what we do is when we put this in the car, make sure you put this on first, and then we'll just slide it down and we'll adjust it with the set screws here, and we'll set it in place. But we'll go over that when we get it in the car. This is what we're going to hook the horn button up to, and if we set this up kind of like how it's going to be in the car, going to be something like that. The horn button goes on there, and then this trim ring right here will hold this to the hub, and then oops, not that one, and then this is the one that we want. So let's go into the car and get the old steering wheel out of the way and get ready to put this new one in. So to get the steering wheel off, we need to take the horn off first, and what you can do is you can push it in, twist, and then it just comes off. And there's actually quite a few styles of the Ford steering wheel that has the same kind of setup. Even if your horn ring doesn't look like this, it's still that same kind of turn, push in, turn counterclockwise, and it should just come right off. Set that aside. Now we need to get this nut off of here. Let's get the wrench for that, and then we're probably going to need to get a puller to pull this hub off of the steering shaft. We're going to use a 15/16 wrench on here, and if we just, there we go, break that nut loose. And then sometimes this might pop off. You might be able to get a hammer, like something soft like this, and just kind of coerce it. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to get the puller and put it on here and pull this hub off. So we're gonna use something like this, and we'll line this up on here, put some bolts through it, and then back it out. Okay, now we need a wrench for that. So we just work this in here, and the purpose of this is just to not work like that. So hopefully I didn't mess up the threads inside here. I had to clean up the threads a little bit so that these will stick in there. In case anybody's wondering, this is just a 5/16 by 24 thread. All right, now we got the right fasteners in there. You just tighten this down. There we go. And it comes off just like that. So when you're doing this, just be careful that you get the right bolts in there, because you'll pull the threads out if you don't have the right thread in there. One thing I want to point out that's important with this hub is the placement of, so I pushed in those two spring clips, or the split clips, to activate, you know, when you got this going on, it's going to trigger, these pins are going to trigger this, and it's going to set it back to 0 when you're done turning the steering wheel. The important part is that that this thing is clocked in the correct position. So what we want is this pin, we're going to take this pin right here, and it happens to be in line with this bottom screw. So we're going to want this screw on the bottom of this hub. So if we put this on there, that's this one, which happens to just be in line with that clip, that right there, that's the one we're going to want. So let's get the ring on here, and then we can go ahead and put this on and put the nut on. So they include in the kit the Allen wrench for tightening this down. So again, make sure you get the right one. That is this guy right here. Okay. All right, and then you can see this slides up and down. So what we want to do is we want to go all the way to the bottom and then just bring it back just a little bit, so as you turn the steering wheel, the back of this ring doesn't bind on the steering column. All right, that's in place. Now let's get the steering wheel on. So they call this as a 9-bolt. This is what it's referred to. So we go ahead and put that on there, and the kit included 2 different lengths of fasteners. One that's just long enough to get into here. They also give you one that comes through the backside, and you could put a nut on there if you find that these aren't long enough. And I like that they do that. But before we bolt this on, let's go ahead and put our horn in place. And it doesn't matter which terminal you plug these into, they're both the same. And the nice thing about this design is it's got these little clips on here that are kind of spring-loaded, and it helps hold it in place. And there we go. Put the trim ring on. And then we put each fastener in. Be careful when you're doing, if you're using a cheap Allen wrench, you can bust the tip off in the end of the fastener, and then you get to cut that out. I found that out on the last time I put one of these steering wheels in my last car. I, again, used cheap tools, broke the tool, had to cut it, which ended up damaging the trim ring, which is really unfortunate. All right, and the last one, tighten it up. There, that's good to go. The last thing we need to do is put the sticker on here. And the nice thing about this sticker is if you don't get it perfectly, you know, standing up straight, you can take this apart and just twist the horn button just a little bit and not have to worry about the steering wheel and get it perfect. All right, we're gonna try our best here. And the reason why my horn button's not working is I have them unplugged up front because I was having a problem with the horn on the last steering wheel. All right, guys, what do you think? I like it a lot. I think this looks fantastic. I like this wooden steering wheel. It kind of gives it that classic feel to these cars that look great. This is something that I've been wanting to do since I got the car, but looking forward to it. Now I got it in here. I'm happy about it. It looks great. Everything looks good. I couldn't be happier. Guys, the only thing you need to be careful of is when you've got that hub puller, you might be able to smack the back of the steering wheel and pop it free, but you may have to get one of those pullers. Make sure you get the right bolts so they fit in there correctly and they don't strip the threads out. I got lucky on that one. And then just go ahead and pull it off, and then it's as simple as just putting on the new one, plug it in the horn, you're good to go. That's it, guys. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, and if you subscribe, I appreciate it because it helps my channel out.